So being a hospice nurse is one of the most eye-opening experiences that I've had in my career. In just 90 days, I've seen things and I've learned things that have completely changed the way that I look at nursing and life in general. And in today's video, I just really want to share some of the things that I have learned about hospice, and maybe it can help you if you decide to be a hospice nurse sometime in your career, or if you're just curious. Let's get into it.
But you can live pretty well by yourself.
What's good, ladies and gentlemen? My name is CJ, aka the High Value Nurse, checking in once again, back with another video. And before we get into the content, I am kindly asking you all to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any of the content that we got popping off here at the channel. Thank you in advance. Now let's get into it. So one of the first things that I had to learn as a hospice nurse, as a new hospice nurse, is that comfort is the priority and it's not the cure. As traditional nurses, we are trained to cure and help the sick and help them heal from whatever ailment they may be suffering from. But it's not like that with hospice. And that's probably the hardest mind shift that I had to go through. With hospice, the goal is not to extend life. The goal is to bring comfort and dignity to the patient in their last times here on earth. And saying it out loud, it may sound kind of crazy, and even thinking about it from that kind of view may come off as, it can come off as harsh if you're new to the game. But when it comes down to it, these people are suffering. A lot of these people are suffering from terminal illnesses, and comfort becomes a priority, and that's more than likely the best decision for them. And I had to learn that. Another thing that I learned is that families need as much care as the patient. I never realized how much time that I would spend educating and supporting patient families. You have times where the patient is peaceful, but then you have the family members that are anxious, that are angry, and they're grieving and all kind of stuff. And it's a difficult process for them. It's a very traumatic process because you have family members that may be losing a wife or a husband or a mother or a brother or a friend, a best friend. So you never know. And education is a big part of the hospice process if you're going to be a nurse, because a lot of people are walking into this for the first time. And it's okay to hold the family's hand through some of this because they need you essentially. I've learned that my role just isn't clinical. It's educational, it's emotional support, it's somewhat of a therapist, you dig? So it's just like you have to have patience and you have to show empathy if you're going to do this job. This is not one of those jobs to where you can be indifferent, work the job and be okay. Because if that's how you're going to take it, it's very hard to do that, and it's going to weigh on you mentally and emotionally. And that's something you have to stay aware of. And probably one of the most important things is being a calm presence when everything seems chaotic and filled with chaos. That helps out a lot. Another thing I had to learn is that medications mean more than pain relief. They're about anxiety, treating agitation, treating shortness of breath. You hear medications like morphine and Ativan. A lot of people think that when you give those medications, you're speeding up the dying process, but that's not the case. Our goal is to provide comfort for the patient. We don't want them to be in any pain. We don't want them to be agitated. We don't want them to be restless. We want them to be in a comfortable state, and that is the goal. And that, again, is the mind shift that I had to switch to when I decided to become a hospice nurse. Educating the families on how these medications bring peace and comfort has been a huge part of my job. And it's one that I enjoy because when you get it, well, when you talk to the patients and educate them and their families and they finally get it, it's a good feeling, because this is a process we're all going through together. You know, to me as a hospice nurse, you're just as big a part as everybody else involved, and we're gonna see this thing through together. Sometimes it's gradual. Sometimes people do go peacefully. Sometimes It's an agitation. You're dealing with terminal restlessness. You're dealing with people who are in a severe amount of pain and medications have to be adjusted. You're dealing with people who may have terminal secretions, and when they breathe, you hear like a gurgling sound. It's a very traumatic thing, especially if you're a family member. So dying is not the same for everybody, and that's something that you will learn and that you will see, and something that I've seen a lot in my short time of being a hospice nurse. But something that I've learned with that is that reassuring the families and being present and being there for them, it helps them understand that this is a part of the process. Your job as the nurse is to illustrate that this is a part of the process. What they're going through is part of the dying process. And of course, it's going to be hard for them. It may be hard for them to accept it, but it's just a part of the process. No need to be alarmed, because sometimes when families go through situations like that, their first instinct is to send them to the hospital. And then we just have to re-educate that. That's not what we do. Our goal is comfort, and comfort is the priority. Another thing that I've learned, and probably one of the most important things as a nurse doing this job, is that your self-care is a part of your survival within this specialty. It is very important to take care of you and to check your own mental health, because what we do is not regular. What we do is a very unique part of nursing that most people don't deal with and cannot deal with. And it is important that you check yourself. You got to think about it. You carry people's last moments. You carry people's emotion, and you have to deal with your own emotion. So that's why hospice nursing can be very heavy. I've had patients, family members that, when I've called them up to the facility to they may want to tell them that they may want to come say their final goodbyes and everything like that, they just instantly hug me. They don't know me from Adam. I'm an on-call nurse, so they really don't know me, but some people just need somebody in that moment to be that rock for them. And sometimes you are that rock. So please take that into consideration before you decide that hospice is something that you want to do. I've learned that if you don't have healthy outlets like journaling, fitness, or whatever, some kind of hobby to where you can just recycle and recharge your own emotions, you probably won't last long in this specialty. I'm dead serious. You probably won't last long. And then I had to realize that taking care of myself is just as important as taking care of my patients. And for those of you that are hospice nurses and considering becoming hospice nurses, that should go the same for you. So if you're thinking about becoming a hospice nurse, know that it's challenging, but in my opinion, it's extremely rewarding. As I've said before on previous videos, I've never felt more appreciated since becoming a hospice nurse. I've never heard thank you so many times since becoming a hospice nurse. The gratitude that people have showed me since becoming a hospice nurse has been awesome. It's been amazing. Now, is every day sweet? No. Is every day roses and sunshine? No. Do you deal with some family members who just don't understand and don't get the process? No. Well, yes. Can it become challenging? Absolutely. Can you even become frustrated? Yep. So you have to take that into consideration if you want to do this job. But you can't take things personal, because again, this is a very unique thing and people are going through some of the worst moments in their life. So remember that in the moments where you do get frustrated and you get possibly irritated and somebody just isn't understanding what this is, pray about it, keep God first, and I believe you'll be all right. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, my name is CJ, aka the High Value Nurse, checking in once again, back with another video. If you want to get in touch with me, shoot me an email, cjkyles90@gmail.com. I get a lot of emails, so forgive me if I'm slow to respond. I also have a trip coming up as well. Go to the highvaluenurse.com, get you some merch, get you the ebook, do all that beautiful stuff. And if you don't do nothing else, please get paid. Young nurse, get paid. Peace.